Hey, how's it going? I'm Adam and welcome to my channel. Have you ever wanted an alternative to Kodak Ektar? Or simply you're just a fan of the holidays and want your film stock to show it? Then oh boy do I got the film stock for you. SantaColor 100. And before you ask, yes, Santa is holding a camera in the logo, and I do think it's the Leica M6. I mean, with the money that he's constantly bringing in from those Coca-Cola commercials each year, I'm pretty sure he can afford it. Anyway, SantaColor first launched as an Indiegogo crowdfunding campaign in the summer of 2021, with the company being based in Finland. It was a smashing hit with over $200,000 in funding in order to get the first batch started. Apparently the film is a fine-grained color negative film / aerial surveillance film. I don't know about you, but that makes me think of a Super 8 camera fused with a drone. Anyway, yielding results with punchy reds and lush greens. It is more saturated than the Kodak Portrait series, but less saturated and with a longer contrast curve than Kodak Ektar 100. So for today's video, we're going to be testing this film out and talk more about it later. I got on a train and headed towards a small village just outside of Poznan called Czerwonak, and I got to work. Well, it looks like Santa came early this year, and shocker, this isn't cold. I loaded the jolly film stock in my beloved Nikon F3, and I got ready for the first shot. So yeah, that's a lot of light leaks. On the website it says due to the thinner, clearer base, we recommend you load this film indoors and definitely not in direct sunlight, as it might lead to light leaks on the first frames. Learn from my mistakes, be better. First impressions, it's definitely a sharp and clean film, giving you a lot of saturation, amazing greens, and thanks to the red tones, I sorta get why they call it SantaColor. The people behind Santa first released any sort of film back in 2019. Their first film was called Santa. They are really committed to that whole Santa thing. Ray 1000, a high-speed black and white film stock, which, to be honest, I really wish we had more nowadays. Then a couple of years later, Summer Santa, a 125 ISO film. Now, sadly, the film materials for these films were produced in Russia, and they have decided to discontinue the lines of film as a result of, well, you know why. So they sold the rest of the film and donated all the proceeds of the sales to humanitarian efforts in the Ukraine. Now, from a post from 2 years ago, apparently they raised around 20,000 euros for Ukraine. And I gotta say, that is amazing.
Yeah, that might be a cool shot. I'm hoping the red tones that this film stock gives will really be vibrant, because I feel like it could work with that.
I feel like the red tones work well with this brown / orange colored building. It definitely helped to highlight its colors. So I made it to the local strip mall called the Red Bag. And by the way, something that I noticed is that this village is kind of a fan of the color red. Even the village name sort of sounds like the color red in Polish. Czerwonak, you get the point. But for some reason, they are a fan of Pepsi, which seems kind of weird to me. I mean, I would have even accepted Mr. Pibb, but whatever. The skin tones are pretty bad, definitely not its strong suit. You are probably wondering what SantaColor 100 really is, cause you probably know by now, there are really no new film stocks, except for like Phoenix 200. So when they were asked if this is a new emotion, they say yes and no. At the time we released it, it was not available in the general international market. However, it is not our own emotion, but by an established film manufacturer in the USA, Kodak, for air surveillance purpose. and then they hand spooled the film in reusable canisters in Finland. So yeah, it's Kodak Evercolor, mystery solved. But it's not a bad thing. I mean, Cinestill and many others do basically the same thing, where they take a Kodak film stock and just slap their label on it, especially if at the time during its release it wasn't available for the international market, and they sort of helped bring it back. Then I think it's pretty cool. Anyway, it was time to visit the local marina, which is what inspired me to even visit the village. I don't know why, but I feel most comfortable photography wise near a body of ocean, marinas, etc. And I think it shows. Let's talk about the characteristics. So first things first, Santa is sharp and clean. The film stock, not the person. The grain is barely visible even for a 100 ISO film. I guess that's why it's professional grade. The colors are accurate, but the red sensitivity is definitely increased. Now it is worth mentioning, and the website says this, due to its clearer base, film scanners can be confused and give you a really red image, and that it's easily corrected when doing home scanning. Now I did scan this at the lab because I'm lazy, and I'm guessing that most of you watching probably don't have your own scanning setup, and I wanted to show you what you might get. Also, they mentioned it's a flexible film stock and you are able to push it up to 800 ISO. I mean, you could, but should you? I seriously doubt that it would look any good. But then again, what do I know? I actually think Lomo Purple is a great all-arounder. It was time to head back because my train was arriving soon, but I still had some time to kill, so I decided to take some photos in the nearby area. I love these photos of the post office. The contrast and the color of the red mailbox is great. And that's the end of the roll and the video. Thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate it. So my final thoughts on SantaColor 100. I actually like it, except for the name. But then again, I'm known to be the Grinch in the group. It's definitely not an all-arounder due to the high saturation and red tones. And from what I've seen, for portraits, it is not flattering at all. But landscapes are a different story. The greens are great. The red tones help highlight any sort of brown, orange, red colors in the image, and it's sharper than a number 2 pencil. So just like my thoughts on Kodak Ektar, just because it's not designed for everything, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a bad film stock, but I do prefer Kodak Ektar. Then again, SantaColor is way cheaper, so you know. Anyway, this film stock is currently available only in 35mm. And I'm really hoping that they find a new workaround for that 1000 ISO speed film, because honestly, we really need more high speed ISO film, especially now during the winter time. So yeah, like, subscribe, do all that jazz. And I'm off to buy presents before the annoying music and hour-long lines start. Take care.